if you feel like a unicorn among the wolves, basically what I mean to say is, if you feel like you are different, if you feel like people around you just don't get the things you do, then you are at the right place. And as my t-shirt suggests today, which basically says, don't worry, be stupid, this is a story time about a friendship that was a close friendship, but in which one thing that I learned is you don't need approval of others to do something, even if they are close to you. So, this is about the friendship that I used to have with one of my very close friends, and she was the kind of person that I thought who just really gets me, and I could feel really safe around her, or maybe someone I can trust with all my heart. And yeah, as people, we too are very different. Like, she is more of the people who are like more logical, realistic, into things like maths and technology, while I am more into creative things. And she's very hardworking, so she's the kind of person, if she knows that she will have to do something, she'll just do it even if she does not like it. Just that kind of person. She is very hardworking, while I am more of the person who is like, if I don't feel a certain connection to something, then I won't pursue it. So as people, we are very different, but she has always made me feel very understood. And also there were many similarities between us, because a lot of the things, our approach was very similar. I still remember like discussing, because we talked a lot, it was such an amazing connection. Like, I still remember the kind of reaction that she had and I used to have on certain things was like exactly the similar, but we are also very different. It might also be due to the circumstances, because she is like the eldest daughter of the family and I'm not, so it might be due to that. Maybe the way our experiences have shaped us. But yeah, the connection was like, it was contrasting. It was similar, but but we were very different as a people. Like, we were very similar to, but we were very different too, if that makes sense. And I really thought that she understands me. So the curve of this friendship is gonna be interesting throughout the story, because she was the person that I used to spend most of my time with, and she is the person with whom I felt like so like myself and so comfortable. And this would be like the duality of the connection. Like, if this the video is about people who don't support you, then why am I talking about her in this way? You'll know. But this connection was like really one of the best connections of my life, because I do care for her and I know she always had good intentions for me, and I do not doubt that. But sometimes I think people's own securities can come into the way of a connection. Like, people have their own limitations, and like there are a lot of stuff. But yeah, so then I realized that I don't want to pursue my degree. Like, I thought that I would finish it, but I won't get a job. And was that, I'll tell you, in school when I opted for that degree, I did because I didn't understand myself well back then. Like, I was so disconnected with my own self, I didn't question myself. It was the kind of thing which is like very normal, that if you get a certain percentage, then people around you tell you these are the three things that might be best in this percentage criteria, choose one of them. It was one of those things, and according to that, I had a decent percentage, I got into a good college, it was a good degree, it could have given me a good job. And yeah, I knew that I could lose an opportunity that could have been very good. But again, as I mentioned, I just realized that I'm not the kind of, when you just feel like you can do something. Okay, it's not like you are not smart enough or you don't have the skills, but in your heart it's just तुमसे वो हो ही नहीं पा रहा है. You are just for some reason unable to do that, because वो internal motivation नहीं आ रहा है. And as a person, I'm very much driven from the internal motivation. Like, I need to feel that sense of connection, and then the external motivation kind of becomes irrelevant for me if that internal motivation isn't coming. So I try to just do things, because for me it just works like that. So basically I realized I might need to ask myself. And that was the time when I was just starting to understand myself better, and I just figured out that I really like expressing myself, and I just asked myself what kind of things I like to do. So I really took my time, and it was not like I was influenced by someone else, but I when I really started knowing myself, then I just figured out, okay, that this might not be something that I need to do, because when you are in school, then you just study through books, but when you get in college, then you see how real life works through internships and stuff. So you just realize then that what this thing will put you through, or what you will have to do if you try to pursue this thing. And I just realized that I don't see myself here, because I don't think I was resonating with that degree. Because when you get into the real things, then you understand what you are getting yourself into. So I just realized I don't want to do this, and then I started exploring. When I started asking myself questions like what kind of personality do I have, then I started exploring writing, freelancing, and stuff like astrology, tarot. I found it to be very interesting, and I know there are many misconceptions around it, but when I really researched about it, I found it to be very interesting. So I started exploring that. We used to talk a lot. She also got to know that I'm doing this. Then in the beginning, it was kind of like I didn't really made up my mind. I didn't really make up my mind that what I will do or how is it gonna happen. But as I started exploring this stuff more, I just realized, okay, this is the direction I want to get into, or something similar to these at least, because I always used to like expressing myself. And then one day we are just having this conversation, and I mentioned it to her when I was like kind of doing all those stuff, and like it was a maybe month or so into it. But yeah, we had this conversation. Initially, it was kind of a hobby, because I was not even sure. Maybe she also thought that it's a hobby. Yeah, there were a lot of uncertainty, but I just realized that, okay, I should explore this. Then I tell her this, and her reaction is okay. I just tell her that I don't see myself pursuing this field anymore. Like, I think I'll finish my degree and that's it. Then she's like, okay, do you want to prepare for a competitive exam, or what do you want to do? So I just told her that I think I'm finding this stuff to be very interesting. Then the kind of reaction she gives me is like, she didn't take me seriously initially. She literally didn't take me seriously. She's saying, okay, you are joking, right? And I said, no, I'm not joking, because again, as I mentioned, we were very different as people. Then the thing she tells me is like, I also hate XYZ, but I study it because I have to, because it will get me a job. She told me this. And I was like, this was the first time when it actually, because we were very different, but this was the first time when it actually felt like a difference in opinion that was kind of serious. And I just told her that, listen, I'll explain you why am I doing this. I had my reasons. As I said, I told her that I feel that I can do so much better in something that I feel a connection to, and it is also better for me mentally, because it can be very draining for me if I just do something and it's so pressurizing, and I'm doing it just for the sake of, like, you understand. And then she's like, the kind of reaction I was getting, it reminds me of like a parent child dynamic, because when you tell your parents you want to do something and that thing is not familiar for your parents, and even if they are like rigid, they think that because they have not heard of this thing, then this thing is of no good, because some people think like that. It was that kind of reaction, because they literally, and their intentions are absolutely right, I agree, and her intentions were also right, because of course she thought that maybe I'm wasting my time, or I'm leaving such a good opportunity. And every parent also thinks like that, their child is basically destroying their life. But then this conversation happened, and initially I didn't take it seriously, the reaction that she gave me, because I just thought that, okay, it's just a difference in opinion, I'll just explain her. But it didn't happen. Like, as I was doing those things more, she was getting a little bit like, her behavior towards me was changing, and I could feel it because she literally thought that someone has influenced me. And because I was good at studies, like, why was I good at studies? It was, I don't even know, but I was like, okay. And then she literally thought that someone is influencing me, and I have been distracted from the right path. She literally thought that. So one day she's like, I want to talk to you, and I'm like, okay, yeah, tell me. She's like, right, hobbies can't be turned into careers because that's not how it works. And I'm like, and you also know that, right? In today's world, there are a lot of options, and you don't have to feel suffocated in order to earn a living. Now, I totally understand that. Like, she also told me that you have responsibilities, and then you will have to pay your bills, and these things kind of are very uncertain, and they take a long period of time. And I'm like, I totally understand it, and it also depends on the circumstances. A lot of the time, some people are more privileged to pursue something unless they can figure it out because they have they have resources. Some people might need to do a job side by side until their creative thing becomes a full-fledged thing. But I was like, I will figure it out. So it was not like I was depending my entire world on it. But one thing that I knew, that I really want to do this. Okay, so I'm not saying that I'll only do this, but I was not depending, like my entire world was not dependent on it. I just thought that I'll maybe figure something else out in the meanwhile while this thing works out. I was aware of it, and I'm also aware of the intentions that she had. But it was kind of like, I don't know how to explain, the connection kind of shifted because as I started pursuing those things, we became kind of distant. And I really tried to talk to her about it, and she won't give me any proper answer because I think this is just my guess. Maybe in her mind it was like I'm not doing something which is right, and because she was very ambitious and she really wanted to do something, and she was very hardworking, so maybe she thought that the path I'm going on is not right or something. I don't know, but I really tried talking with her, but I was always met with either she would dismiss me, or of course the schedule was also getting very hectic during those days. But I just sensed that something is different. Now she didn't say anything negative after that, like for a period of time, and then I continued doing those things, and then I was seeing results. Like, I used to earn a little bit, but like it was very initial, so it was not like I'm earning enough to make a living or something like that. But she started seeing results, and when that happened, then she kind of, I could feel the that okay, now she thinks that I'm actually doing something. So that happened. But it happened a lot of the times. For example, if we are talking with other people in the PG, and now that I do it, people around us know that I do it. And she she used to pass comments like, I still remember she and this other girl were talking, and then they are in the mess, and then when I enter the mess and I also go and join the conversation, then this other girl asked me like, how is your thing going, and I'm like, oh, it's going like this. And then she just, the expression on her face is like, I don't know how do I tell it, but when you feel that someone sees you as being unworthy, or like the expression on her face was kind of like when someone does not see you as good enough, or when you are totally not interested in the conversation and you are not even pretending to be interested. It was kind of like demeaning kind of expression. And then she passes her comments which says like, oh, you also believe in these things. I didn't know that people believes in such things nowadays. What do you mean by that? Why would you say that? And I understand there are a lot of misconceptions, like you might not have all the information, but that's very rude. And it became kind of, a pattern then, because whenever, so for example, if we have to go out, okay, and I'm writing an article, okay, I'll tell her that give me 10 minutes and I will be there. Then if I was studying in that case, then she would be like, okay, do your thing, because she was very supportive. Like, her behavior kind of it changed. Pehle she used to be like so this warm person, supportive, and one day she's like, okay, let's go out, and I'm like, okay, just give me half an hour, I need to finish this article and then we can go. And then she is like, the work you do is irrelevant anyways, it's of no use. Like, she says something like, I don't exactly remember, but the gist was, the work you do is anyways irrelevant, like it made me feel like it's not important. So it, from that moment, the connection really got, like, I myself, because I felt, when someone just makes you feel that just because of the choices you are making in life you are a bad person, because those choices don't match with their idea of life, and they're just too rigid to see your perspective. And I felt so bad. So I, as I said, I have tried many times to just talk with her and try to explain her, or try to ask her like, why you are doing this, why you are doing that. And but it just really never happened, and the shift was kind of very, like, it was subtle in the beginning because we both got busy with our things. But then initially I just thought that it is the schedule, but then I did know something is off, but I also thought it is the schedule. But then I realized it's entirely due to that thing. So I used to really feel bad about myself when I was with her. So I just, when I have tried so much, okay, to come halfway, to meet you where you are, and I'm trying to explain you my side of the story, but she's not willing. And when I do that like 4 or 5 times, I'm like, it's fine, I'm done now, like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. She'll accept whenever she will accept. But the point was always like, it didn't really bother me, her, like, it used to bother me that the connection was strong and now it's not. But it never really bothered me that she didn't believe in those things, she didn't believe in astrology. Never. Like, I tried to explain her how it works, but just because my belief in these things was so relevant, belief in these things, and this has a relevance which you'll find out later in the video. But my belief was so strong, so I just continued doing those things. Then one day I just uh, figured out that, okay, if I like expressing, I should maybe start making content. And at that point of time I was kind of insecure, and at that point of time I didn't have much experience, because in school also I was very insecure. And in college, in school you are living the same life with people have certain impressions of you, but in college you're kind of free. So I'm like, who cares, like, just make the content. But yeah, there was still this sense of like being a little bit not so confident, a little bit insecure, but I really wanted to do it. So I didn't tell her, because of course, why would I, because she made me feel this way. But I still feel very bad, like I felt very bad that I'm hiding things from her, because it was a very good connection, and I never doubted her intentions for me, never ever. I knew that she cares for me, okay. I thought it is maybe a rough patch, and that's fine. But I just thought I don't want to complicate things, so I won't tell her. And I didn't tell anyone, by the way, like, to my college friends also. I didn't. She was not in my college, like, we were in different colleges, but I didn't tell anyone about it. So I'm making content, and when I have been making it for like 1 or 1.5 month, and I'm really liking it, and I'm just starting to wonder maybe this can go anywhere, but I'm not still sure. At that point I'm just doing it because I find it to be very fun, and I was just exploring at that point, like building that confidence. And I didn't really tell people. So, but there were like a few of my college friends maybe who got to know. But yeah, I didn't tell people by myself because I was just exploring. And then one day she found out about the content, and I'll never forget that moment, because she comes into the room and she shows me that like my content, and I'm like, oh man, what is this happening? And then I'm like, I can explain this, okay? And then she's like, and we used to be very close friends, and even though there was a rough patch, but I totally understand her feeling bad that I didn't tell her. But she okay, she never thought that why didn't I tell her. This was another thing which I'll explain more towards the end maybe. But she shows me this, and she tells me, don't tell me that you have changed your mind and you are done with all your astrology stuff. The type of content that I used to make was similar to this, okay? I used to express my perspective, lessons, etc, etc. So she tells me, don't tell me you have again changed your mind, and don't tell me you are making this into a career. She tells me this. And I'm like, in that moment, when you see that expression of disapproval, okay, when you see that expression of disapproval in someone's face and it just affects you too much, shows me that, and I just tell her that I can explain it, just listen to me. And she didn't say anything, but she just said that now you are hiding things from me. And I felt really bad, but I don't know, yeah, I just don't know. And then she didn't really say anything, but the energy you can feel. There was a reason I didn't tell her, okay? There was a reason. And the expression that I saw on her face on finding that out, like even after the days, like the expression and the vibe that you get from someone, it screams disapproval in a very bad way. And the way it used to affect me, I used to feel it in my body, and my first reaction was like anger, and I didn't express, like I wasn't screaming at her or something like that. I didn't express my anger towards her, but those expressions kind of tell you like what is going on in the person's mind. That energy kind of tells you. And I used to feel so angry, and so like, you are making me feel bad for someone I am. It feels so betraying at that point. It felt so, and I could feel that energy in my body. It was so uncomfortable, and I used to feel angry. And then I really thought about, like, why am I getting so angry? Because it was natural to feel that way when someone constantly criticizes you, but there were a lot of things going on there. So because it was really affecting me. And at one point I just thought that maybe, like, I don't know, but I just thought that maybe I should not do it because her disapproval was affecting me this much. And then I tried to really reflect on it, and what I found out was, like, I just realized that when she disapproved of those tarot and astrology things, when she disapproved of that, okay, it affected me in ways that I felt hurt, but I never questioned tarot, I never questioned astrology, because my belief, my faith in those things was very strong. But now I realize, and that is when belief in things relevance comes in. Why don't I believe in myself? Because this content was me, it was who I am, and it was also a sense of validation. Like, I knew there are people out there who are doing astrology and tarot, in who believe in that, and maybe who are doing it in amazing ways, and it is a legit thing. But when it came to my own content, I felt like, even though I was expressing everything, even though I was being genuine, I needed that external validation to tell me your content is worth it. Just why? And that was also the reason that maybe I didn't tell my college friends somehow, because I also wanted that they find out when I have XYZ followers, because then they will think that whatever I'm doing, whatever is important to me is relevant, and whatever I'm making is worth it. I didn't have self belief. Like, I used to believe in those things. It affected me, but it never affected me to the extent that I thought, okay, I'll just quit. I tried to explain her one time that, okay, this is how it works. She didn't believe it. I didn't think about it that much. I never questioned it. It didn't bother me. It used to bother me when she used to make fun of me, but I never questioned that thing that she was not believing in. But this time it mattered because I was questioning my own self. Then I realized I don't believe in myself, and also I'm not living by my own rules. Because if I were to see someone who creates content and they don't have XYZ followers, but they are doing it for their happiness, and if they tell me that it makes them happy, even though it is not giving them any monetary gain, but it makes them a better person, a confident person, they feel more close to their own self, they feel they have a better connection with their own self if they are making content, and it is making them happy in this world where happiness is such an underrated thing. Like, things just stress you out, then I will think that person is just so amazing because they are pursuing something which makes them happy, which is an act of self-love, the biggest act of self-love. But when I came it to my own self, I'm looking for that external validation, that if I have XYZ followers, then only it is worth it, and my happiness is not relevant. If I don't do it for with someone else, like if I don't make someone else feel bad about doing this thing, or if I don't see it as a failure, because I didn't, you are doing something you like, if it works out, amazing, great. If it does not, doesn't mean you are a failure, because you just tried something that is really close to your heart, and you define your own failure, you define your own success. Maybe for you failure is not doing that thing and not failing at it. Maybe for you failure means just never trying to do that thing you love, and not that you failed. I was having all these perspective, but I was not embodying that energy because I still had this belief that my content is worthy only if I have XYZ followers. That was the first time that I was making content. This is the second time that I'm making content. But yeah, at that time I used to think like that, and I just realized that I'm not living by my own rules. I think that these are my rules. Like, if I'm not judging someone for it, then why am I acting out of a place of judging my own self? Like, because that was what I was doing. If I say that I didn't tell my college friends, it was, and whenever someone used to find my content, I used to feel very insecure. I used to feel like, oh shit, they found it now. It could have been better if they found it, if they find it like when I have itne followers. So I just realized these two things, and the moment I realized them, and when I really started to understand that if I compared it with that astrology wale thing, my belief, how it is not affecting me. Like, someone can say to my face that all these things are irrelevant, like astrology, okay? But I have researched about it, and I have kind of experienced it. I have gotten my readings, I have read somehow too, and I believe in it. So it does not really matter now. It's like, okay, cool, if you are not into it, it's fine. But I don't question these things because I believe in them. Then why can't I do it with my own self? I don't know. And it was such a big realization. And when I realized that no one has the right to tell you how to live, no one has the right to tell you how your life should look like. And when I realized that I need to set my own definitions, like I need to act on it, not only like set those rules, but also act on it and behave in an aligned way. And when I just realized that for me, making content is like, it is my source of happiness, and I also have other reasons that I do it. And if you don't understand those reasons, if you are just too rigid to understand those reasons, if you think there is no other perspective in this world than yours, if you think that the world operates only on what you think is the truth, and if you are too rigid, then good luck to you. I'm not up for it. Because if you think that whatever you think is the right way, then I'm sorry, it is not how it works. So yeah, and then I was just making content, and it's been like 2 or 3 months. And then one day it was like the door, like I was making content and the door was shut, and now that she knows, then like I no more needed to hide it, and I'm making content. And then she enters the room, and then she see me, and she again makes that expression of like, you know, disapproval, and I just stopped recording because I could not record while her in the room. But then, yeah, and then she just tells me that, and while I'm like packing things up and stuff like that, then what she chooses to tell me, this is what she told me. She tells me that, why are you wasting your time on this, because it is clearly not going anywhere, and I can see your, like, she knew my channel and all, and she said, because it is clearly not going anywhere, then why are you wasting your time on it? And I was like, number one, okay, this has a lot more than what you think success looks like. This gives me a lot of more things other than the things that you feel are the only valuable things in this life. If you feel like, if doing something purely out of the love for it and investing your time in it is not good, and you should only do something if it is like practically giving you something, then I'm sorry, that is not something that I agree with. And then it was like I felt so bad because it used to be such a close connection, and now it just felt like she cared for me and she was being supportive to me jab tak I was being this person, like the person who she thinks is right, or maybe the person who didn't say anything she does not agree to. Soon as I became someone who you thought is like not resonating with you, then you behave like this with me. Like it just felt like the care, the support, and the friendship had conditions. When someone tells you that I will be there for you, but it has conditions. The moment you do that I something that I don't agree with, in that moment, all of that will be gone. Like what kind of friendship is that if you are not able to be? And it is, I already mentioned it, that it is so contrasting because she was the person with whom I used to feel like understood and seen, and now she is the only person with whom I'm feeling like I can't breathe. Like it is so suffocating because I can't be myself, because she is not even giving me that space to evolve into the person I want to become. So it was very hurtful when someone close to you says this to you, because you have an expectation from them कि ये समझेंगे, that this person will understand, and when they do something like this, and it the friendship curve was like so weird, and I don't know, it just feels so sad. And also one thing that I just realized, that people just act out of their insecurities or their limitations, and how they treat you has nothing to do with you, because like at times it could be, but most of the times it is not the case. Because I just remember she was so good in dancing, okay, and I did mention a couple of times to her that maybe you should start a YouTube channel, and but she like she just told me that there are a lot of people doing it who will see mine, and I'm not so confident about it, and I don't feel that good enough. And when I just remember this, I just realized that the fact that she's telling me that I'm wasting my energy, or the fact that she's not approving of the things that I'm doing, and she knows what kind of person I was in school, and I tried to work on that in college, and that she knows too, like I'm trying to become more confident. I think she was also kind of projecting her own like limitations on me, kind of, because she had that belief that there are a lot of people who will see yours, why are you good enough, that was she was kind of projecting that onto me. And she never asked me, like when she told me that why that like she found out that I'm creating content, and she never asked me that why didn't you tell me, okay, and she never thought that why is this. And in a connection, the understanding, it's really important. And like if someone is not even asking you that why, they are, all she is doing is she making these expressions of disapproval, and she's making me feel so bad about doing things that I'm doing. But she never asked me like, why didn't you tell me? She never thought that maybe it was also her. She never self like, didn't she even reflected on herself that there must be some reason that I'm not telling something to her. Like, she can get angry that, oh, you didn't tell me, but you just think for once, why didn't I? Like, if this was a close connection, that I might have also have my reasons, right? So I think a lot of the things people have do, it's just reflect who they are. But when I just realized that if I my belief in things is like, and my reasons are very sorted, like when I realized that now according to me, if I won't judge someone who is doing something they like, even if according to the world it is not going anywhere, or it is not turning into a concrete thing, but they really enjoy it even though it is not giving them any like practical benefits, I don't know, that is a win for me, because that is an act of self reflection, as I'm self love, as I mentioned. So why am I letting someone else tell me that you can't do this? So when I realized that, things have started affecting me very less, because now I kind of understand that not everyone has the bandwidth to the emotional maturity to just understand you, or like not everyone is that kind of compassionate, because it's a very compassionate thing and very basic kindness to just not make someone feel bad for something. Like, if you are not hurting anyone and you are just doing something that you enjoy, what is the reason for someone to just make you feel bad about it, or make you feel like you are not good enough? It does not make any sense to me right now. And I used to do everything with her. Like, we used to go out together and we used to do a lot of things together. And I was like, not the kind of person who was so confident to do things on my own. But when she started behaving with me like that, I did things on my own, because her energy was so disrespectful at that moment. And in that moment, that thought of like, am I strong enough to do things on my own, that just kind of made me realize that it would be worse if you are with someone who's making you feel this way every moment, and it would be so self betraying to feel this way every moment. So it's just better you do things alone. I just realized that. I also had this habit of like getting into external validation बहुत ज़्यादा. Like, I used to rely on external validation so much. So when this happened, then I kind of told my school friend about this, because I wanted to listen from her that whatever content I am making is worth it. It is worth it to make that content, even if we don't know where will it go, or even if we don't know that what will happen, but it is worth it because I like it. I wanted to hear this from her because I believed it. I believed it that you should do anything that you like, and if that thing is giving you happiness, if that thing is giving you a sense of purpose, or it is making you a better person, or it is making you more confident, even if it is not giving you like material gains, like you might not have a lot of followers, you might not be earning money from it, but it is giving you happiness, why should you not do it? I used to believe in it, and I also used to believe in it. Failure is not when you really try to do something you really enjoy and it does not work out. Is that failure? You did something, it's life, you do things, either you fail, not fail, like either you try something, it does not work out, or you try something and it works out. Like, doing something that you really like, and you are not just harming anyone, you are not doing bad to anyone, and it does not work out, why do we have to make people feel so bad about it? Just why? I used to believe like that. When it came to my own self, I was not able to stand firm on that belief itself. Like, why did I need validation from that school friend that whatever content I'm making is worth it? Why do I need validation from her? So I kind of realized these two things, that these are the things I need to work on. And to be honest, when I just realized this and I started working on this, the affecting wala part, like how much is it affecting me, her reactions or what she thinks, it just started to disappear, started to affect me less. And I just realized that why do we always need validation from others, that whatever we think that this is the idea of my life or this is the idea of my success. If something is giving me happiness, even if it is not technically giving me any other thing, that I should not do it, why would I invest my time in it? If my idea of success is like, if something gives me happiness in this world where people are like so stressed, and if something is giving you that, I think that it is worth doing it if you are finding that fulfillment in that thing. And but why do I need to validate it externally? Like, why do I need to listen it from other person and let them agree to it? Just why? Also, why did I think that I'm not strong enough to do something alone on which people don't support me or they don't agree to it? Or why do I also always have to play by this idea of success that society has created? Just why? So it kind of made me realize a lot of things. And the moment that I realized that I will define why should I do something, and no one else has the power to tell me to not do it. If this thing is giving me happiness, then I'll do it. And when she found out about the content thing, she's like, don't tell me that you again change your mind and that you are not doing that astrology wala thing and now you are up for this. And then I was just like, can't you just explore for a while? Can't you just change your decisions? Or like, can't, first of all, you can do multiple things at once, and second of all, as you grow, you just explore and you just realize you are not the same person that you were. Why is why is it considered to be such a bad thing? Like, I really don't know these rigid beliefs that. And after college, she did try to reach out and meet a couple of times, and then I just didn't want to because I just didn't feel like, it felt like very disrespecting to my own self. And then she sends me these long texts or just tries to convey that I am, why am I doing this and I have changed and stuff like that. Why don't you reflect on your own actions? Why don't you think that if someone is behaving like this, or like, is there anything that you have done? It's very easy to say that you have become rude and you have changed, but it's not that easy to self reflect. So, and right now it's just like, I'm trying to understand you, I'm trying to explain you my reasons, but you are not even trying to do that. And now I don't even do that. Now I don't even explain people why is something important to me, because I know if someone is mature enough, they'll just let it be and they just not make any comments that will make me feel bad. Because, like, you don't need to explain people. And to be honest, I have wasted a lot of time thinking that if I should do this, what if I fail? And then I just said, like, if you are feeling happy, that is it, you are doing it. You define your rules and you need to live by them, because once you really believe in them, as I believed in those astrology things, then that is it and that will be it. And there's also this song called Chumantar in the movie, I guess, Mere Brother Ki Dulhan, in which a line goes like, थोड़ी तो यारी यारों से निभा ले, अपने पे भी तो कभी अपनी चला ले. So I think at times we can say people, like, I used to think like, if someone came to me and told me like content creation makes them happy but it is not going anywhere, and their friends are criticizing them ki, why are you doing this, because this is not worth it if it is not going anywhere, even if, like, no matter what you think, then I would tell that person, do not give even a second of your time to those people. I would tell that person that, ask yourself, what do you want, what are your reasons, what is important to you, and what do you want to do. Then why am I not doing this to my own self? And this line basically captures it so well, like, apne pe bhi to kabhi apni chala le. So yeah, this was it for this video, and I hope you guys will find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.